Hey everybody, you're listening to Second Round Steals as we go through our 2015-2016 NBA team previews. Be sure to check out the rest of our previews, and don't forget to stay tuned with us for regular updates throughout the season. Hey everybody, we're back. Here talking about the New Orleans Pelicans and their 2015-2016 preview.
Yeah, so last season they went 45-37. They were able to make the playoffs as like an 8th seed, but they eventually lost in the first round in a pretty interesting series with the Warriors showing the future of the NBA.
Yeah, they took that series. They got washed, it was 4-0 Warriors, but I don't know, there were signs of life from this Pelican squad.
Those games were competitive, but New Orleans just wasn't good enough.
Obviously, and they went to be on the champ, so there's a pass there. So, obviously, key additions for this squad. Alvin Gentry is probably the biggest one. Acquired him. They got rid of Monty Williams this offseason. Alvin Gentry also part of that Golden State offense. So, that's kind of interesting to think about. Aside from him, they picked up a bunch of random fringe players such as Chris Douglas-Roberts, Alonzo G, Jeff Adrian, and most recently Kendrick Perkins.
Coming off a fresh run with the Cavs.
Yeah. See, so I mean, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. I want Kendrick to go to Dallas. We talked about that before, but I guess he serves some purpose on this Pelican squad. Not really.
I mean, that really shows like what this front office did with the team. Like, they didn't draft anyone. I don't think they've drafted anyone major the past couple of years. I'd hope for them to keep developing and adding young players around Anthony Davis, but they basically mortgaged their future for Drew Holiday, Gordon Evans.
Yeah, I mean, that Drew Holiday trade especially, that got rid of all their picks pretty much.
They got rid of Nerlens Noel.
And I thought they got 2 future picks for him too, which I think just ran out this year. I think they have a draft pick again this year.
Yeah.
So losses for this squad. This team only lost, Tony Douglas, Jeff Withey, and of course, one of the most hyped college players that just did not pan out in recent years, Jimmer Fredette.
Yeah, he's on the Spurs now, and I'm hoping for a resurgence from Jimmer.
If any team could do it, it's the Spurs.
Yeah.
So let's break down the starting lineup. Drew Holiday, if healthy, amazing one guard for them. But again, that's if healthy. So here's hoping. Eric Gordon, he kind of had a resurgence. He kind of had a resurgence last year.
Yeah.
He was a really good shooter. You can't ask him to do much anymore, and obviously you said if healthy, so you can't tax him. I don't think you can really ask him to be driving to the paint and clanging to the ground. I think he has to kind of stick to a more reduced role with Holiday, Evans, and Davis. So then rolling in there, Tyreek Evans, he really earned that starter spot. There were questions, he should be running the bench, but his contract was too big. Last year when Holiday went down, he really took over that offense, and he was surprisingly effective. His drives were, even if he missed the field goal, they were responsible for a lot of New Orleans points, just simply because they broke down the defense, gave Anthony Davis or Omar Sy just a quick rebound, and then right back up with a slam.
Yeah, he averaged 17, 5, and 6 last season. That's a pretty good season. And he shot it pretty decent, too. Shot it 45%.
Yeah.
30% from 3, which is a bit of an improvement from previously.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
So Anthony Davis still filling in the power forward spot. And then obviously Omar Sy, just fresh off his new deal, both him and Davis. Obviously he's going to fill up that center spot, but he's injured now. So is Ajinka. So questions as far as Davis starts at center and Ryan Anderson maybe moves into the starting lineup for the beginning of the season?
Possibly. Or whatever you do, just don't start Kendrick Perkins on the stage.
I was going to say that would be awful. But I feel like that's what they're trying to do. That must be why they signed him. Like, why pick him up? But whatever. So moving on, Charles, what do you think the stat is for this team?
This is basically going to be the Anthony Davis Love podcast, probably for both of us.
Yeah.
So my stat is Anthony Davis's efficiency. His efficiency was a 30.3, which led the NBA last year. That just is one reason to show how great Anthony Davis is. He signed that big contract in the offseason, and he's probably the top 2 or 3 players in the league right now. He's only, 22?
Yeah,
Which is ridiculous. I think the only thing stopping him is like the teammates around him. There really isn't a great team surrounding him, especially with a lack of draft picks and injuries. He's consistently missed 10 to 15 games his past few seasons in the league, and I think that could be something to watch out for.
Yeah, definitely. He was the youngest one to register a PER over 30 as well. That was a really cool stat for him. He's in great company with the likes of David Robinson, Hakeem Olajuwon, Shaquille O'Neal. He put on an amazing season. Yeah, my stat's kind of odd for this one. I was going to talk about the fact that they shoot so slowly, even though they're such a great team, and they're kind of young, but they're ranked in the bottom third of the league in fast break points per game. They clocked in at number 23 last year. On the flip side, they can't stop the fast break. They were 22nd in defending it. But I think Alvin Gentry comes in and he fixes a lot of those problems. He's a fluid offensive coordinator. We obviously know his work with the Suns, or the D'Antoni era, with the Steve Nash running guns. I think he can make this team a really good fast break team. Asterisk if the starting lineup stays healthy.
Right.
But yeah, for as young as they can be, and if you have a player like Davis, I feel you need to really push the pace. He's athletic, he can get out in transition. I think he needs to be featured more that way.
Yeah, for sure.
Another surprising stat for this team, not really something I think will define them, but just something I kind of want to touch upon before we go into the big picture. They were ridiculously efficient last season. Like, ridiculously efficient. They ranked in the top 10 in field goals made per game while only taking like 80 shots a game or so, which puts them in the bottom third. So they took less shots than 20 other teams, but they made as many as like the top 10.
That's interesting. I think maybe Alvin Gentry picks up the pace, like you were saying before.
So their field goal attempts are going to go up a lot more, yeah. But if they can keep that efficiency, they're in a good spot. If they increase the number of shots they're taking while keeping that efficiency good, they're clocking almost a 50% for the team. If I pull up the stat right now, yeah, field goals made per game was about 38, and they only took 82, 83. So that's really impressive, especially for a younger team with battling a lot of injuries. I think Davis has a lot to do with that. So then moving on, big picture, what do you see for this team this season?
I really think the only major addition to this team was adding Alvin Gentry as coach and replacing Monty Williams. Gentry, like you were saying before, he was an assistant on the Warriors last year, and he couldn't bring some of that offensive philosophy to the team. And this team is still lacking, I believe. Aside from their pretty decent starting lineup, their bench is relatively weak. Quincy Pondexter might be the best player on that bench if you're starting Ryan Anderson.
Yeah. Well, Ryan Anderson...
I really don't believe that'll compete with anyone else in the Western Conference.
Yeah, that's true. Obviously, Alexis Ajinka had that run at the end when he was putting up great efficiency stats. The team overall was ridiculously good with him and Davis together. Even Davis and Asik would we think that wouldn't work out, or how Omer got exposed in that Golden State series. I don't know. The team was still plus 12 over other teams, or plus 4 I think with Asik, plus 11 or 10 with Ajinka. But big centers with Davis for some reason work in the regular season. So
I think anything with Davis works.
Yeah,
he's almost
obviously
like water.
Yeah. Big picture for me, I mean, yeah, even with the injuries last season, this team turned in a plus 11 season. They increased their win total by 11, even though their entire team kind of went down at one point. That's amazing. If they can get a fully healthy season from their starting lineup is great on paper. It's not, one of the best. It's not one that I'm drooling over looking at it, but it's a good one. It's respectable. and they've never had it. If they can get a season out of these guys, they could turn in another 5 wins off of last season. I think they could definitely be in that 7-6 spot again in the playoffs.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's if things break right. Obviously, the depth issues are a big concern.
Mm-hmm.
And future prospects, if they don't start getting draft picks and if they can't hit on these draft picks. They kind of got lucky the past couple of years because they hit on a one spot in a draft where Anthony Davis was the prize.
Yeah. And they really haven't done anything else, like trade-wise.
Exactly.
And they don't have that many assets to trade either.
And they also have no money between Gordon, Holiday, and Evans, and now Davis's contract, and Omer, and Alexis Ajinka.
Yeah, it was like a 5-year, $125 million contract for Davis or something like that.
Yeah. It was something incredible like that.
Yeah. I guess we can move on to how exciting do you think this team will be?
Yeah, I think this team's going to be 7.0. Just watching Anthony Davis is incredible for me. The rest of the team kind of I kind of cringe when I watch Evans take a drive. I like him as a player, just I don't think his game really translates to watchability. Gordon, Holiday, I don't see them, so that's a question mark. Maybe I'll like them if I actually get to watch them play a game.
Right.
But Anthony Davis himself is transforming the league. If he's actually shooting 3-pointers like he's reported to be, that's endgame. And also, while I do cringe when I watch Evan drive, seeing him either miss and Davis get to dunk it or him pass out and see an open 3-point shot from someone like Ryan Anderson on the wing, that's a lot of fun to watch. So I think it could be this team's going to be a lot of fun, especially if they get more speed behind them.
Yeah, I have a similar excitement scale rating for them. I have them at a 6.0. I think, again, the issue with them is health, because when they're healthy, they're really fun to watch. I really like the lineup of Davis, Holiday, Gordon, and Evans. But yeah, really, the bench isn't too exciting. Omer Ashik is kind of a player, and he might be getting a lot of minutes. And
yeah.
I'm really curious to see what kind of lineups Coach Gentry puts on the floor, whether it's putting Pondexter at the 4 or even Evans at the 4 and running a little bit smaller. That could be an interesting development for them. But I don't think they're really going to be that competitive with the other teams. There are going to be some games where they get blown out by a lot. But seeing Anthony Davis grow and probably continue to be one of the best players in the league, it's really interesting for me.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be a really fun season for them. All right, so where do you see this team sitting?
I see them in the West. It's really tough to predict because Oklahoma City got better, and they didn't make the playoffs last year. Utah is probably going to be a lot more improved, as they showed at the end of last season, and they could be contending for a playoff spot. So I agree with you when you said they'll be competing for a 6-7 seed, maybe even a 7-8 seed. But if they miss the lottery, if they make the lottery, I don't think that'll be too big of an issue for them as well, because they need a lot more depth. And getting a young player would be good for them. Because they're definitely not contenders this year, and all they need is more depth and more development.
Yeah, definitely. I see them, they're not a 50-win team. But the thing is, they were a 45-37 win team last season, and they were an 8 seed. That's like...
Yeah, they actually had the same record as the Thunder. I guess they just won the tiebreaker.
Yeah, they did. That was the 1 3-point shot Anthony Davis made.
Yeah.
In that game. Yeah. But they're a good team. That record speaks volumes about the kind of competition they're facing, and I don't think this roster can expect another 11-game win season, There's not going to be that drastic of a change in their record. I think at most they add 1 or 2. We saw the Minnesota Timberwolves when Kevin Love was battling for postseason. He put up a 45-win season, I'm pretty sure. They went over 500 a couple seasons. They didn't make it. So I don't think necessarily making the playoffs is as big a deal in the West, because your record, other way around. It's a big deal to make it, but it doesn't say that your team is bad if you don't make it into the playoffs, know? Because like you said, Thunder 45-37, and they missed it. That's incredible. So I think they're going to be competing for that 7-8 spot. I think they have a slight edge over Utah, just in terms of space. And if we're talking fully healthy, I kind of like their starting lineup a bit more. Utah obviously dealing with its own injury issues right now, but I think they're going to be a 7 seed. I would like them to make the 7 seed for myself. I would like to watch them there. But if they do go into the lottery, it's kind of a win-win for them.
Yeah.
Sort of like how the Thunder added a lottery pick and now they're going to be back to full force. I would like to see the Pelicans try to get some depth over the next couple of years, whether it be through trades or draft.
Free agency, but they really don't have as much cap space.
I don't think they can sign anyone in free agency at this point.
Yeah. Just moving on to social media. I think the report you were reading before was saying that most NBA GMs would take, if they had their choice, they'd take Anthony Davis over LeBron James.
Yeah.
So
I'm not shocked by this, actually. I was gonna sit there and say, "Oh, I'm shocked." No.
Where Davis ranks in the NBA players, I think you have like LeBron, Steph Curry, and Davis as your top 3 guys. Because I don't know where Durant is now. He's had a couple of foot surgeries.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Westbrook's amazing talent, but I think he's more ball dominant than those guys. He's not super efficient. He's a great player. He's definitely within the top 10, top 5, even you could probably argue. But I have it as LeBron and Davis kind of fighting for that number 1 spot. Curry is the MVP. He's got game. We've watched him play. He set records with his 3-point shooting. He's a passer. He's cut down on the turnovers finally. He's got over those ankle issues. He's a warrior. He's amazing. But he brought the team with arguably 3 All-Stars in Draymond Green and Klay Thompson as well to record-setting heights. Davis did what he did alone. And we talk about Tyreek Evans, he was efficient. Tyreek Evans' year would have gone to waste if Davis wasn't there to kind of take some of the attention off him. Tyreek Evans would have put up another year similar to what he's done in Sacramento, where he's gotten bashed consistently for kind of not putting up great efficiency stats. I think Davis kind of changed that. Davis morphed the game that this team played in, and it made it so that way it was easier for their other players to get involved. LeBron's still LeBron. He's the king. He's transcendent, but he's also older. And I think that's kind of a little unfair. I'm normally all for trying to take LeBron down a peg, but
yeah.
I think this article was a little uncalled for because obviously they would want Davis over LeBron as a building block. LeBron's going into his 12th, 13th year in the league. Davis is 22. Unless they're talking in their primes, which then I really don't understand what they're going at. But they did not say anything about previous LeBron and previous Davis. They're saying right now they would want Davis over LeBron, and obviously you would.
Yeah, maybe even 2 years ago people were probably saying they'd take Durant over LeBron. I think a lot of articles like this try to say somebody's better than LeBron, but I think Anthony Davis is probably the closest we're going to get to someone on the level of LeBron. Curry might be there, but again, he's not as transcendent as a player as those other 2 guys.
Well, the thing is, close to LeBron, Davis could surpass LeBron. Davis can. He's already put up historical seasons, and he's only been in the league for 3 years. So he's got a better chance than anyone, but it's just the simple fact that LeBron's been putting up great numbers. He's a 4-time MVP, if he makes the playoffs this year and can get to the finals, can drag that, so-so team of Cavaliers with 3 top 20 talents. If he can find a way to somehow get the best team in the East to the finals, he'll be in the playoff. He'll be in the finals 6 years in a row. And I think people are trying to look for a way to diminish what he's done because they've just kind of gotten tired of LeBron and they're looking to replace him with Davis. Davis will have his time in this league. He already is getting noticed and treated as a superstar. He's going to have a great career. I don't think we have to start beef between the two of them and like comparing them and
Yeah,
saying who's better.
doesn't really matter.
Yeah,
Just who wins.
exactly. Any other thoughts about this team for the 2015-2016 season?
I think we got all our Anthony Davis love out this session.
Yeah, definitely. Here's looking forward to another year of his development. All right, guys, thanks for listening.
Hey, thanks for listening to Second Round Steals, our NBA podcast. Please be sure to check out the rest of our 2015-2016 NBA team previews, and stay tuned. We're going to have a lot of different podcasts, probably weekly, and we'll be there every step of the way covering all the drama, great games, great plays, and highlights of the NBA season. So please be sure to check us out on iTunes, on SoundCloud, and on YouTube for your podcast needs. And stay tuned for more content outside of podcasts, like videos and articles, and even probably live discussions. Thanks for listening.